been talking about the soul, and essentially our understanding is that soul is the creator that exists in all of us. In the Bhagavad Gita, we so far in this chapter 15 heard different ways of assimilating that concept. The bottom line being purification of the soul, meaning living a righteous life where we make the correct decisions every time and be fair and even-handed with respect to all dualities. Happiness, sorrow, friendship, enmity, and all that. Any kind of duality you can think of, evenness in that. Now, Krishna goes on to explain a little bit more about where this creator exists. We know the construct is that it exists everywhere. But to be a little bit more specific here, if in case we don't notice it, a couple of more things are mentioned. The first thing mentioned is in verses 12 and 13. In 12, basically it says, all this light, sunlight, for example, and the reflection of the sunlight by the moon and the light that exists in the fire are all coming out of the radiance of this creator. It goes on to say in the next verse 13 that he is, or that entity is the one that gives energy to everything. Through the moonlight, for example, it nourishes the plants. There must be more to it in the Vedas. Remember, Bhagavad Gita is a small sort of cliff notes on the Vedas. So, but then there is this allusion to the idea that we have knowledge of the science that is only in the modern days. The modern scientists have talked about. David Holmgren, for instance, talks about something called permaculture principle, in which he talks about during the waxing moon that we call Sukla Paksha, in all the plants saps go up, meaning the nutrients are being sucked in from the ground towards the leaves. So at that time, if you harvest some of the greens, for example, they will grow better. And so if you have a pollock plant in your kitchen garden, basil or tulsi or karvepla, kadipata, harvest them during the time of waxing moon and they will grow better. Or pruning the trees, for instance, even if you don't use the leaves, pruning them during the waxing moon will make them grow better. In a similar way, during the Krishna Paksha, during the waning moon, the sap goes down, meaning the roots are being focused now. So if you give fertilizer that is required for the roots during that time, it'll work better. Perhaps our farmers knew this all along and they've been using that. just as a rule, not necessarily knowing why. It's the Shastra mentioned in the Vedas. It's been passed on through generations and people do that. I didn't know that existed. My kitchen garden, I will start following that rule now onwards.